coming out so well, mate. You must have felt great out there.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was good couple of days. Pretty happy. Yeah, it's nice to have a swinging ball in my hand again and bowl a couple of longer spells, and rhythm felt good. Wicket helped a little bit, which is always nice, but yeah, good couple of days.
You didn't bowl within yourself at all, because clearly this was, you wanted an intense hit out. You seem to be going full ball.
Yeah, that's the aim, to try and do what's best to prepare for the test, really. So for me, I haven't bowled a long spell, for quite a while, trying to learn, I guess, the nuances of bowling test matches. I think that first spell, I think I bowled 7 yesterday. It's kind of weird. You start off fresh, and then after 3 or 4, you're hurting a little bit, and then you kind of find it towards the end. So just those kind of things. And yeah, trying to bowl a few bounces and get the pace up was nice.
Can you talk us through taking the new ball this afternoon? How did it come about, and is it something you'd like to do in coming weeks?
We'll see. Yeah, I don't mind it. Obviously, the ball's hardest there. It's kind of weird over here. Seems like the Dukes, one of the theories is after 8 or 10 overs, it starts swinging more than the new one. So whether it's new or first doesn't really bother me too much. But no, Starkey had caught his heels the Savo, so he'll be back at it tomorrow. But yeah, there's no massive thought as to why I opened the bowling.
Pat, how keen are you to play your first test over here in England, having been on that 2015 tour and then winning the Ashes at home?
Yeah, hugely keen. Being on that tour in 2015, I just remember being really excited. And, it felt like I was close to playing a test towards the end, but I felt like that would have been a bonus on just being over there. I was pretty excited. And after winning the series last Ashes, this is the next thing to tick off. Play a away series. Doesn't get a much tougher than this, so it's been in the diary for a long time. I'm glad it's here.
How much of the conditions played in the ball dominating the bat?
Out there?
Yeah.
Quite a bit. The wicket's probably tougher than you'd normally get. Sideways movement off the wicket, bit of up and down bounce. I think it's starting to dry out a little bit, but again, the Duke's ball, if there's anything in the wicket, that Duke's ball seems to nip around a lot more than, say, the Cooker back home. But yeah, certainly a tough wicket for the batters out there.
The batters haven't been getting upset. I mean, you're bowling them out of form.
They can score runs.
We know how much over the last few years you Mitch Stark and Josh Hazlewood have bowled together successfully and enjoyed doing so. Are you sort of aware or acknowledge that the selectors might want to try a different combination in England? With obviously James Pattinson and Pete Siegel bowling as well as they are.
Yeah, potentially. I think it's kind of blessed at the moment with Riches. I think as long as I've been playing, Pato's always been around, and unfortunately hasn't had great momentum the last few years. Kind of the 4 of us have been around. Sidsy's obviously played a lot and done really well over here, and we've got Tremaine, Birdie, Ness, who have all done really well in Aussie A. So game like this, it's a weird one because everyone's been bowling beautifully. It's going to be tough to whittle that down to 5 or 6 for the selectors, but see what the selectors go with. I love bowling with all those guys. I've done a little bit with all of them. Everyone does their job. It's a 5 test match series. I think in Australia we played 4 of them. Birdie came in for the other, but it's pretty rare you keep the whole group together for 5. So whoever it is, everyone's in form. Everyone's bowling well. We all get along. So see what happens.
Did you blokes take notes of what England were doing today?
Yep, very happily.
Were you sort of having a bit of a snigger, or what was the?
We saw it. It looked like hard work. Looked like Ireland bowled really well. Only watched a little bit of it, but yeah, I suppose it's kind of similar to our preparation. Really, it looks like a tough wicket to score runs on. They'll be fine. I'm sure they've got another couple of guys to come back in. So yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it.
Are you more comfortable playing Test cricket than one-day cricket? It seems to suit your bowling.
Yeah, I think there's probably not too many bowlers around the world that would say they'd prefer one-day cricket. I just find there's always something a little bit more in the wicket, a little bit more with a red ball. It seems to swing a bit more and stay hard a bit longer. And yeah, for me, I like the contest of bowling 20 overs in a day and trying to outthink batsmen, trying to use your bounces, and kind of there's so many different phases of Test cricket. So I just like everything that it brings, and yeah, it's my favourite format.
Did you guys as a group prepare for, as you would for a test, like with individual plans for individual batters out there, or did you just sort of focus on where you needed to land the ball on a pitch like that?
Yeah, not as in depth, I guess, as what we'll sit down and look at the English side before that first test. But it's like Shield cricket. You've played everyone so many times, and everyone's your teammate will play them 10 times. So for me, it's probably more practicing through the middle of a spell, trying to think of different ideas and ways to get a batsman out and kind of think on my feet. Because obviously we practice a lot of bowling in the nets, but that kind of game situation is, you don't get that unless you're in a situation like this. So nothing super specific, but try and think them out.
And this whole business of adjusting lengths, like how do you go about it? Can you just go into the nets and say, okay, I'm going to bowl a yard fuller or shorter? Like, how do you go about it as a bowler?
Yeah, I think everyone does it slightly differently. For me, I'm always trying to hit that top of off stump, so whatever length that happens to be, it doesn't really change too much. I feel like I can adjust pretty quickly. I think the key that we always speak to is whether it's fuller or shorter, you've just got to make sure you bowl it. If you try and place it there, it's when it gets floaty or it's doesn't nip as much. So practice, that's what the nets are there for. We're always trying to target that off stump, and we're pretty try and be really disciplined in that every session. But that's about it.
How significant from a confidence, mental perspective is, you mentioned before about getting that juice ball in your hand, a ball that swings after so many summers toiling at home with that kookaburra on flat decks. I mean, how significant is it when you get it in your hand and you think, right, I can do something here?
Oh, you play cricket because you want to influence games and win games, and as a bowler, I think when we're sitting at home and you chuck on the TV and you see a swinging dukes ball, you get pretty excited. So we're here, hopefully, we've got some wickets for us that are going to swing and seam. I'm excited. I think the last 6 months we bowled with white balls, and kind of knowing once we get the dukes ball, hopefully it'll swing a bit more and be able to adjust. I'm glad it's taken a couple of sessions and I feel like I'm where I want to be. So I'm excited. We'll see what happens. It's not every test match the ball swings around, but it just feels like you're always in the game with it.
Does Mitch Marsh have the bragging rights over you and the fast bowlers?
Good point. I mean, there's no sticko, so I can maybe say I didn't nick it. I did nick it, but I can say I didn't. He probably does, to be fair. He didn't bounce me though, so well played to him.
What about, so just one on James.
Last one now, Rob.
How impressed were you with him today, and I suppose just his journey over the past couple of years? What sort of changes have you seen? Is he bowling sort of even better than before?
Yeah, he's impressive, isn't he? That's the first time I've seen him live. In a couple of years, you hear all the guys playing him in state cricket or face him in the net say how well he's been bowling, and when he's on fire, he just looks that class above. And his test record so far is brilliant. Unfortunately, he hasn't played for a few years, so I haven't played a lot with him, to be honest. So in terms of changes, I haven't seen a lot. I think he's, if anything, maybe just a little bit more patient. He still gets fired up, but he's not the trying to blast teams away. He's confident in his body and getting through 20 overs a day and just bowling good areas. But when he's up and running, he looks as good as anyone else in the world, I reckon.